Hey everybody. I'm a little bit late, but that's okay. I haven't set nothing up yet. I'm getting it done now. But hey, welcome. Let me just getting set up because I wasn't, but we getting there. I've been saying this for a while, but today's episode is going to be quick. And we only have one more episode in this season. So this is the second to last episode. It's not the last one. Right now I'm getting logged into Facebook. Go and get y'all a drink. I got me a Mike's Hard Lemonade. Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna have. Go get what y'all need. And we about to get into it in like a second. Okay? Make sure you share the video. Oh, my hair look healthy, child. Okay. So, I'm going to do my mic check and we're going to go ahead and get started. Make sure you are sharing the video. This is going to be a quick talk, but I hope it's a good talk. Whoever is in the space and in the place, like the video, share the video. Make sure you all go and listen to my podcast on Apple and Spotify. And I'm working on getting it in some other places, but right now that's where we are. I love y'all. Let me do this and then we gonna get into it. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. All right, it looks to be working. All right, let's do this like Brutus. Please share the video so that we can have some more friends in the space and in the place. All right, y'all ready? I'm ready. What's this episode called again? Just say it. All right, let's do this. Let me move this back. Here we go. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Universal Teas. It's the People's Podcast with your girl Toya, and this episode is called Just Say It, right? And so what I want to push you all to do as we go through this episode. Well, I didn't even open my drink, y'all. Hold on. Y'all heard that? Yeah. What I want to push us to do through this episode is basically give yourself the courage to say the things that you need to say to the people who need to hear them. And before I even get into the points that I made, I think it's very important when we feel like we have difficult things to say or difficult conversations that we need to have. It is so important that we say these things to the person that needs to hear them. Right? Because when we're struggling with something and we first go and consult other people, or our first reaction is to tell somebody what they did and you're acting emotionally, that can get really messy, right? And so by the time you're ready to talk to the person or the person is ready to confront you about what they've heard you said about them, it gets messy. So although I'm pushing us to say the things that we need to say, make sure that in doing so, you are saying it to the people or person or parties that need to hear it, right? Every week I tell you all that a lot of the things that I say and express here are things that I am working through in my own life or have worked through and conquered in my own life. And this is one of them, right? I've been that person for a while who just didn't say much, right? If things rubbed me the wrong way, if I didn't like something, I was that person to cut people off without warning. I was that person to just stop talking to people without giving them a reason as to why, because I feel like you know what you did. You know I don't rock with you right now. So I didn't feel the need to have conversations. But in other instances, I found that I've been longing to have some very difficult conversations with people that I really love and care about. And not necessarily because I want to check them or I want to make them feel a way. I want to let them know how I feel, but I really want to find a solution and get to a point of understanding. And I feel like some of us can kind of relate to that, right? So sometimes we're afraid to have hard conversations. One, because we're afraid of the negative that will come from it. Hey, Rhea, we're afraid of what negative reaction that person will have, or maybe they'll stop wanting to be my friend or being my bae, or maybe they're going to want to fire me. They're not going to want me to work for their company anymore. But what I've recently realized, and I mean like really recently, is that you have to entertain the idea of everything good that could come from this situation, even the bad things, right? So let's say you're having a conversation with someone about something that bothers you, and y'all are in a relationship, right? And you're like, oh, but I love him, I love her. If I let them know this thing, if I tell them what's bothering me, then they could possibly leave. They could possibly decide that they don't want to talk to me or be involved with me anymore. But the good in that is you realizing it now versus later, right? You continuously let people do things, or you continuously invite energy and information and just vibes and frequencies around you that are not meant for you, right? So if someone decides that you're no longer for them, let that be what it is, right? And trust and believing that you'll find what is for you, right? We hold on to the things that are good when we don't even recognize there could be something great behind that, right? We sit and we struggle with telling people the things that we need to hear because we're afraid of what they're going to say back. But you have to start thinking about you, right? This was actually the last point that I put on my show notes, but it's one that I think that is the most important. When we say the things that we need to say, it's a subtle form of self-care, right? Because you're sitting and you're wondering what is going to happen, or you're feeling bad about something, you uncomfortable, right? It's like, I love you, but this is what's bothering me with you. And I'm not telling you because I want to argue. I'm not telling you because I want you to leave. I'm not telling you because I want to leave. I'm telling you so that I can stay, so that we can keep this, so that I can keep this job, keep this relationship, so we can continue to be friends, right? And a lot of times we need to recognize, or we fail to recognize. Shout out to my people in the chat. I love y'all. Hey. But a lot of times we fail to acknowledge the fact that a lot of growth comes from being uncomfortable. So having those uncomfortable and those hard conversations can make those relationships grow, right? And if they don't make the relationship that you're talking about grow, and the relationship does quote unquote fail, you're just inviting more opportunities to get what you actually need and deserve. Right? So you have to understand that having them is a part of those growing pains. You have to have difficult conversations, because would you rather have a difficult conversation and fix your relationship, or a difficult relationship and it not grow? I'm going to ask y'all that question again. So would you rather have a difficult conversation that could save your relationship, your friendship, your job? Or would you rather stay in a difficult relationship that never grows? Right? Choose your heart. We talked about that before too. And I got some people in the chat. Let me go ahead and see what y'all talking about. Rhea said, I know, I don't like to have them because people give you backlash just from trying to resolve an issue. Then I'd be wanting to act like a descendant of Peter, and I want to fight. LOL. Now things are right. And that's, you know what I'm saying? We all trying to be more like Jesus every day. I'm glad Laria is in the chat, right? So sometimes we know the people we want to have conversations with. I know my friends that I can have difficult conversations with, right? But I also know my friends whose initial reaction is emotional, is defensive, is argument, right? You come in to talk to me because you want to argue. And now, because I'm not about to let you play in my face, now I'm going to argue. We can argue. That ain't why I came today, Jesus. But if that's what you want to do, we can do that, right? And it just becomes too much. And you also have to understand what I've realized in my most recent difficult conversation that I've had. You have to understand and really know the person that you're conversing with. I know, or if you know that the person that you want to have this conversation with is very reactive, is very emotionally responsive, is someone who can be argumentative and defensive, you need to know how to approach them. Having difficult conversations is not the same as checking somebody. That's a word. Those are two different things, okay? Let's understand and be clear. Having difficult conversations is very different from checking somebody. Checking somebody is meaning, I don't care how this turned out. I don't even want you around. I'm just letting you know what you did and how you feel, and you might catch this fade, right? But having difficult conversations is like, listen, I love you, right? I want us to be better. I want us to find a solution. I want us to grow. So we're going to talk about it, right? And then you have to understand too that some people that you have conversations with, and I'm very guilty of this, having difficult conversations, one person might shut down, right? I'm that person where if you're having a conversation with me, because I'm working on being more saved and sanctified, and with the Holy Spirit, because although, you know what I'm saying, my hair is healthy and swinging, and you know, I'm a little cute here and there, even though I just got a hoodie on, these hands still get active, and if you come at me wrong, my first response may be to hit you in your shit. But I am learning that conversations are not a bad thing. So not only was I a person at one point that would get offended by some difficult conversations, I'm also a person who shuts down if I feel like you trying to get in my business. Cause it's like, why you want to know all that, or what you trying to find out? I'm that person who, if someone's approaching me with a difficult conversation, I feel like it's a setup. Like, what you want to know? You must already know something. So just ask me what you want to know. Like, I'm that person. And that's something that I have to check on myself. You have to understand that just as I'm pushing you all to have difficult conversations and to say things to people that are bothering you, you need to also learn how to be someone who is receptive to those as well. Right? Understanding that it's all about reciprocity, right? You have to be able to give it and receive it. You have to understand that just because somebody is coming to talk to you doesn't mean they're checking you. Just because you have an issue with somebody, that doesn't mean you have to check them, right? Difficult conversations are had because of love. Checking somebody comes from you wanting to start some shit, right? Let me see what we got going in the chat. Joey said, it's not hard for me to have difficult conversations. I'm very well respected and biased. So I go into it as you know I'm coming from a good place. Right. Okay, so that's great. Because some people don't always recognize that you're coming from a good place. And what I was mentioning too, Joey, I don't know if you was on here. You got to know who it is that you're talking to. You got to know who it is that you're having this difficult conversation with. There may be gaps in understanding. I've realized that sometimes there's lapses in experiences. There's lapses in generations, right? Me talking to my beautiful 68-year-old mother may be a very different conversation that I'm having with my 28-year-old coworker. You know what I'm saying? And you all have to, you have to elevate who you are to have these types of conversations, and also understand that these conversations will not always go the way that you expect them to. So just because I'm telling you all and I'm pushing you all to just say the things that you need to say for you. Like I said, it's a subtle form of self-care. And I wish my friend Cavi was on here now, because she said something that was so profound. And she says it all the time. And as I say that, saying what you need to say to people is a subtle form of self-care, she'll always say, words unsaid are left screaming in your head. And that's heavy. Right? You sit around, there we go, Texas. You sit around and you know that there's things that you need to say. There's things that you need to get off of your chest, and those words never leave your mind. So now they're just rolling around in your mind when you need to put them out into the universe. Right? Words unsaid are left screaming in your head, and that shit is a burden. Right? That's where anxiety comes from. That's where stress comes from. That's where depression comes from. Right? You have to get it out. It's kind of like, I'm pretty sure Erykah Badu was talking about that when she was making Bag Lady. That's one of the bags. Get it off your chest. And you have to stop being so concerned. And I'm talking to myself. I might be talking to y'all too. When it comes to having unsaid words left in your head, you have to realize that you have to care. That's a way of showing that you care about yourself more than the other person. I spend so much time so concerned about hurting somebody's feelings, and I know that they're already going through a lot, and I don't want to burden them with anything else. But baby, you gonna hold it? You gonna carry their bags and yours? Oh wow, I didn't know you turned into a bellman, LaToya. I didn't know you worked in baggage claim, Toya. When did that happen, right? So the quote, Jazz, was, words unsaid are left screaming in your head. And that shit is uncomfortable. And some things just can't be left unsaid because you will be miserable, right? I know y'all have heard this saying as well, the truth will set you free, whether it be free of that difficult situation with the person or free of that situation in general. Free of that person in general. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to understand that you have to live your truth. You have to speak your truth. You have to put it into the universe. Just like we put our ideas into the universe, we manifest visions and they come to pass. Things that you need to get off your chest, put it into the universe. It's no longer yours. Because once you say it, it's no longer yours, and you're inviting, you're creating space for everything that is. Right? Another point that I made, when we're having or when we're deciding to have difficult situations, I'm gonna pin the tweet just in case Cavi come on here, Jazz. But y'all just made me forget what I was about to say. Here we go. Hold on, let me take a sip. Mike might let me know what I need to say. Hold on. All right. The point that I was making, when you are in these difficult situations or these difficult conversations that you feel like you need to have, you have to recognize that sometimes you may not reach a solution, right? We have to be okay with, is it unclosure? I was going to say unclosure. Be okay with, child, be okay with not coming to the end of the conversation of the solution, right? But you have to understand that you have just now opened the door in whatever relationship that this is that you're having this conversation in. You've now opened the door to where you and that person can now have difficult conversations, or, where you and that person can now make this like a layered thing where you can continue to reach that solution. And opening that door, having difficult conversations shows the person that you love and care about that there is an issue. Because sometimes people don't know. Sometimes people have no idea what it is that you feel, how it is that you perceive things, right? And I am so guilty of this, right? I am a person who literally lives in my head. I live there. Like, I got an address, but my brain is where most of my shit is. And I just assume, right, like, okay, they did this and this is why they did. Like, I give people their own intentions. I assign people, you know what I'm saying, the reasons that they do and say things to me, with me, around me. I'm like, they did this because they trying to make me feel like this. She said this to me because she thought I was going to say this. And it's like, girl, what? So in a recent difficult conversation that I have, there was no solution found, but there's so much clarity. It's like, I get it. I understand, right? We're two different people. We have two different perspectives. We had two different outlooks. We have two different intentions, right? And we've talked about intention here before, but I understand you better. So I'm good with us not having a solution. But just know that this is something that we're going to have to do more than once, right? Don't be afraid to break the barrier in difficult situations and different conversations. You have to be open to breaking the barrier so that you can get to the breakthrough. You have to be open to breaking the barrier of a difficult conversation so that you can then work towards getting to a breakthrough. Because if you don't mention anything, somebody doesn't know. You can't place intentions on other people. How other people perceive the things that you do and say ain't got nothing to do with you, right? Y'all in the chat, NJ said knowing the purpose and intention of conversation is essential too. And that's something that I think that especially in difficult conversations with people who you really genuinely love and care about is establishing intention before the conversation starts, right? I'm coming to you because I need to just let off my chest some things that happen, right? I'm coming to you and I love you. I'm not trying to, ruffle any feathers, but I just want you to kind of understand my mindset. Or you have to come to people and say, well, I really want to know what was your reason or what was your intention with this situation, because this is how I perceived it, and this is maybe not what you intended or not how you intended for me to perceive the situation, right? So you have to be courageous, right? I'm trying to find the right words for this. You have to be courageous enough. You have to love yourself enough. You have to honor your mind, your peace enough to be able to have difficult conversations with people you care about. I'm preaching today. Am I, y'all? And I also want you all to understand that the clarity that you may be looking for, because I seen that Laria mentioned no solution but clarity, and I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but the clarity that you may be looking for may be that situation, that relationship, that job, that partnership, that investment needs to end. That'll be clear too, because I know with me in a lot of situations that I've had, and a lot of the difficult conversations that needed to be had was because I didn't know what this is. Like, what are we doing? What is our intention, right? So when you are presented with a difficult conversation, you have to understand that sometimes the clarity comes in cutting that shit off. Sometimes the clarity that you're looking for is to cut it off, because sometimes we're hanging on to hope, right? Sometimes we're hanging on to the, well, maybe if we keep doing it like this, then we can get somewhere. And it's like, no, that person has no intention on going anywhere with you, right? So it needs to be clear that it's cut off. So there's no lost hope. You know, there's no ribbons in the sky, and no, you know what I mean? False prophets and all of these things that we assume, right? And that's another point that I had made, is that when you have difficult conversations, when you say the shit that's on your mind, say the shit, get the shit off your chest that you need to, you begin to break through anxiety and assumptions. And I want to talk about those separately, right? So for me, I am a person who very much so suffers from anxiety. And I be afraid to have difficult conversations because I'm afraid to lose friends. I'm afraid to lose love. I'm afraid I might ruffle feathers with my boss. You know what I'm saying? And when I have conversations that I thought would be difficult, by the end, I feel so less anxious. It's like, whew, I was walking around with this, and it makes it hard to be around the people that you are having these conversations with, because you're holding on to it and you're trying to pretend like you're good and you're happy around them. Whole time in your mind, you're like, I really need to say this. I really wish I could say this. It's heavy. It's heavy. Let it go. Put it down. Say it. Okay? And say it in a manner that is respectful to both parties. You might have to pull somebody to the side. Like, there's just something I need to say. Let it go. So that you can stop feeling anxious. Being anxious a lot is worrying about what's next. What's going to happen? What's going to be the result? Or if I say this, or should this be the time that I say it? So get rid of those anxieties, right? The perfect remedy to curing anxiety is to just do. I spend too much time over analyzing things, so I'm building anxiety, right? It's like a snowball effect. But once you say what needs to be said, that goes away. Okay? And the other thing is you break through assumptions. You break down assumptions. I'm sorry, you don't break through them. But like I was mentioning before, sometimes we go, I see y'all in the chat. Sometimes we go into things, and this is, okay, I'm all over the place. Sometimes we go into conversations with how we want it to look at the end. Sometimes we go into conversations with, okay, I'm going to say this, they're going to say this, we're going to be cool, boom, it's over. And sometimes it's like, and then when somebody says what you didn't assume, right, you're not ready. So then you lose sight of the intention of the conversation because you're so caught up on the plan that you made for how the conversation should go or how the situation should end. And it's like, no, you have to accept that I'm saying this for me. I'm not even saying this because I want a reaction back. I'm not even saying this or getting this off of my chest because I want to see how they feel once I've said it. I'm just saying it so I can get this shit off of me. Right? And trust that whatever is to come after it will come. Whatever, if that means they leave or they stay, that just means that you're getting a line. You're getting in position for what really is for you. Okay? Joey said, understand the difference between selfish and selfless. That is absolutely true. NJ said, and listen and trust those unspoken words too. A lot of time, motherfuckers be confused and don't know what they want. Then it becomes, up to you to make decisions. Absolutely, right? You have to understand that everybody isn't on the same journey as you. Some people literally have no idea what they want, and a lot of people who don't know what they want don't know how to name that. They can't say, or they're afraid to say, I don't know what I want right now. Something that I'm learning to do is realizing that I am in a place where I'm still learning myself, right? This Toya that's right here is not the same Toya that I was in college. It's not the same Toya that I was in high school. So I'm being reintroduced to myself. So in order for me to come back into the world and be more social and hang out more, and I got to really be figuring out who the hell I'm introducing to people. Because I don't know. right? And some of y'all may be able to resonate with that. So I'm getting to know myself all over again. I'm getting to reestablish my intentions. I'm reestablishing what I like and what I don't like. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? You know what I mean? Who I am now may be totally different from the person that I was 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to understand and trust that some people just aren't where we are. And that's okay. We're all walking a different journey, and it's difficult in every aspect. The lane that I'm in is difficult. The level of this game that I'm on is difficult. Just like when we was back in the day playing Crash Bandicoot, right? You get to one level and it be easy. Boom, we flying through it. Knock down the box, right? You get to level 20 and you can't pass it. But somebody thinks level 20 is easy. You know? And you have to honor and understand that people are just trying to live. They're just trying to make the best decisions for them, right? So even in these difficult conversations, it is what is in your best interest. People are going to do what is best for them, so you have to follow suit. Whatever is best for you is what you need to do. And you have to trust that the best for you is always going to be present in the universe. If you believe that is what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And you have to understand that what is best for you is not attached to a person. It's not attached to a destination. It's not attached to a thing, right? It's all internal. It's all from the Most High, from God, the spirits, the ancestors, you know? And you have to really, truly walk in and believe that, because when you do, difficult conversations don't even exist. They just become conversations, right? The difficult part gets left off when you truly understand that no matter how this situation turns out, my best is yet to come. Right? You really got to walk and believe that. And I'm talking to myself right now. I was trying to see if it was some more people in the chat. Did I skip anything? No, I don't think I did. But like I said, this was another quick episode, unless y'all got anything else to say. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Say what you need to say. That shit is heavy. Don't be the bag lady or the bag boy or the bag person. Put that shit down. Put it in the universe. Trust and believe that your best interest is at heart. And that shit's real. It's really real that your best is yet to come. Only if you believe it. If you believe that you got a bunch of bullshit coming, then maybe it's gonna come. You know what I'm saying? And understand that life is all about ups and downs, ebbs and flows, and who knows, you might have a difficult situation with someone and you all stop talking for years, and then a couple years later y'all can reconnect in different headspaces, and maybe it takes you a couple years to reflect on what that conversation really meant for that relationship. You never know. Or that difficult situation can make that situation end, and as soon as you finish getting over how you feel about that difficult conversation, you step into the best situation of your life. You really got to trust that your best is yet to come, because you deserve it. Okay? So, my friends that are on Facebook Live, please share the video. I'm going to close us out. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining me right here on Universal Teas. It's the People's Podcast. I will see y'all next time. Bye. All right. Y'all snapped. So, yeah, this is episode 14. And I have one more episode, and after that, I'm going to be a little MIA. Now, me being MIA does not mean that I won't be seen, right? Y'all still going to see and hear from me, hear from Universal Teas. I'm just trying to step it up. So I will be still present. I'll still be pushing my podcast. I'll still be doing little things and posting videos and stuff like that. But, yeah. Oh, so every episode is up on Apple Podcasts. Your girl is all caught up, okay? So every episode, the only ones that you all won't find on Apple right now are the ones when I had guests, and that's because my audio was real weird. And then also when I come back after this episode next week, I'm not going to do seasons anymore. I've decided to kind of move away from seasons and just do episode numbers. So that's what you all are going to see. So the numbers of episodes will start to appear versus season 1, episode 14, season 1, episode 15. Because that gets a little tricky, and I don't got time for that. So I'm going to just do episode numbers. So I think right now on Apple and Spotify, there's 24 episodes up, 3 of which I'm going to try to get up if I get the audio. I'm trying to get the audio with my guest on there. I do want to do more work on my YouTube page, so y'all will see that. It's up. Right? It's time. I'm stepping into it. Just like I said to y'all today, your best is yet to come. My best is yet to come. So we on that. We on a whole lot of that. We on a whole lot of elevation. So with that being said, I'm hungry. I think I'm about to go get me a Popeye's chicken sandwich or something. But yeah, I love y'all. Share the video. You deserve the best. You the best. Bye.